How a transistor radio changed his life. Well, I think it changed a lot of our lives when we were growing up. If you grew up in the 60s and 70s, a big part of your bedroom surroundings would have been a transistor radio, trying to get radio stations as far away from your house as possible, unless you lived in a major city. Our guest moved from a poor side of Montreal as a teenager, still in high school, to New York City to catch a break, and indeed he got that. Andy Kim is our special guest on Rock History Music. As a lot of you know, Andy Kim had a lot of hits. He was also responsible for co-writing Sugar Sugar for the Archies. We'll have a clip on that later on. Co-wrote that with Jeff Barry, who was famous for the hits of the Brill building. Co-writing songs like Do Wah Diddy Diddy, The Do Run Run, Then He Kissed Me, Be My Baby, Chapel of Love, River Deep, Mountain High, and a lot more. But that's Jeff Barry. We're talking about Andy Kim. His first hit was in 1968 with How'd We Ever Get This Way, a number 21 hit, by the way. Follow that up with Shoot 'Em Up Baby, which was released the day RFK was shot dead. Obviously, there was a backlash, but it still made it to number 31 on the Billboard charts. His first million seller was Baby I Love You in 69, reached number 9 on the Billboard charts. Then his version of Be My Baby reached number 17. But then his biggest hit was Rock Me Gently in 1974. Andy Kim will be doing his Christmas fundraiser concerts throughout Canada this year in Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, and Edmonton. There'll be links in the descriptions where you can get more information and how you can get tickets. Oh, back to that transistor radio, something we all grew up with. I mean, still have visions of trying to catch WPTR and WKBW, which was one of the stations that Andy Kim listened to. Dreams in our eyes, forming something that would either make us a more serious music fan or else a musician in some cases, like Andy Kim.
By the way, how does a kid from Montreal, I watched the Brill Building show. I just loved seeing you in front there looking in the window. I mean, that touched me, man. But how does a kid, and you were a kid, go from Montreal to New York? Like, what's the...
The transistor radio changed my life. I grew up in the tenements of Montreal. My brothers and I, and mom and dad, and there's a sense of community when you're around people that are living like you, without much stuff, basically. And as I reflected upon it, as my life started to get into the middle years, and I look back and I realized that my destiny was already predicted, because I lived in the tenements, and I borrowed my older brother Joseph's transistor radio. It was kind of an old thing that kind of worked. And I found WABC in New York, and I found WKBW in Buffalo.
I used to listen to WKBW from New Brunswick. And by the way, I'm from Verdun, by the way. I was born in Verdun.
Oh, it's pas français un petit peu?
Un petit peu. Not, been a long time. Well, Baudin. My name is Baudin, but I don't speak French anymore.
But I found, for myself, I found that the transistor radio gave me a dream that was more of a dream, but it became a belief system. I would hear the disc jockeys talk about the songwriters and the songs, but also mostly about the artist, and that they're coming to town, or the band that wasn't in town, the girls chased them, and it was completely another world. Today, we have everything at our disposal. Back then, there was nothing for me except to dream this. And the dream was so magnificent that I would go to New York, and I would meet someone. I went to New York especially to meet Jeff Barry, whom I eventually met. And the reason why is because I loved loved the excitement of KBW, and Joey Reynolds was on the radio at that time, and I forget what time slot was, but but it was WABC that really had people going to Palisades Park, and they're going to appear here, and they're doing this, and it opened up a world. You know, we didn't have a TV till later on in life, but it just opened up a world for me that I dreamt I could do this. And I remember my dad coming up to me and said, what are you talking about? We've never heard you sing. You have a guitar that's kind of got a crack in it. And I said, but it's okay, because I really believed in that dream. And I don't mean to go on and on and on about it.
No,
but
please.
it gave me the courage to get on a bus and go to New York City.
Good day, sir.
Good day. How are you?
I'm fine. You and I talked to a couple of years ago for the benefit.
Mais oui.
You know, after we talked, my then 18-year-old son came upstairs. He was editing my video for Extra Cash.
Yeah.
Very serious drummer. He came upstairs and he said, "This Andy Kim guy's pretty cool."
Oh, wow.
You know what he said? He said, this guy's, because he was listening. We were talking in the beginning of the last interview about giving back. You know, it's something that he was writing an essay on at the time. He quoted you in his essay for school, because he said that, he says, "I know, Dad, I edit a lot of your interviews, but this guy's plugged into something." That's what he said. There you go.
Wow. Oh, man. That's probably the best gift I ever received, man. Thank you.
You know, he loves listening to the interviews, loves classic rock and pop, but there's just certain people he'll come up and he'll go, "Tell me more about this guy." You know, and I said, "Well, you heard the interview." He said, "No, but tell me, like, where they've been. Tell me more." I'm going, so there you go. So can we start with that? Let's start.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to give back. There's no rules of this. You've given a lot to the industry, but here you are doing the benefit again this year. You're coming here to Calgary for a couple of shows as well, and I'll make sure I plug it really, really well. But what is it in you? Is this something instilled in your parents? Is it something you nurture nature? Where did you get that?
There's a Buddhist saying, "Born round, do not die square." So, you know, I don't think too much. I just live this blessed life one day at a time. Yeah, I never carry yesterday's hurt or misunderstandings or what happened 24, 48 hours. I'm in the moment all the time, and I didn't know that's who I was. I guess I was that way as a kid. But I just think that somewhere along the way, I just realized that this is my one and only life, no sequel. So I kind of have always done what I've wanted to do, and thought about, what am I doing now, and not looking. I'll be honest with you. I've not regretted, you know, I should have done this. I could have done that. It's a waste of time, because it just brings sorrow and confusion into the moment that you are living. So as long as you know that you are born with a certain amount of heartbeats, you don't know how many you've been given, you may as well be doing the things that you love to do with the people that you love. And when other people show up to kind of disturb your day or trip you up, or there's a misunderstanding, make it brief, because you're not going to get those heartbeats back. And I think as soon as I started realizing that it's all ephemeral, you're here, but there are other things that that kind of trap you into staying there as opposed to here.
News on Andy Kim's charity concerts in the description. He is coming to Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, and Edmonton, supporting a different cause in every city. Go to andykimmusic.com for more details. Remember, if you want to donate to the channel, there are links for PayPal at the very top of every video we release if you want to help us out. Any proceeds we get help us buy equipment and help us promote the channel. You can join our Patreon, get early access to all our videos. And we love it when you subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share them on social media, and comment on them as well. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take care of yourself.